Oh, by the way, are you recording us already?
You can guess. You can figure that out.
The answer to that is yes.
Never mind. I was going to tell you something, but I will tell you later.
Oh. You're going to forget, aren't you?
No, just remind me that it has to do with LOJ and talking to someone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk to Jareth?
I already have.
Oh, you should talk to him again.
Nah, he was kind of boring.
Oh, well, Bob.
Shame.
Yeah, he was more interested in stealing babies. Wasn't down for it.
I mean, my name is Toby.
Oh.
Wow, that realization was beautiful.
No, it's not,
it is not that.
Realization. It was just kind of...
So we should probably explain to
No, this is great. Tell
people
me more.
listening to this.
All
I
right.
mean,
Do we have to explain? I mean, can they just be left on a cliffhanger here?
Nope, we have to explain because
if anyone
we're on
calls
a
me
podcast.
Toby, I'm going to kill them, by the way.
Toby!
Tobias.
Toby.
Toby,
Oh, Toby.
Toby.
All right, so Ryan, would you like to take us away?
Of course. And we are live. Welcome to Life Action Roleplay with
Cynthia Marie.
Kai Norman.
and Ryan Omega. And joining us today, we have...
Toby!
Dying of fire. Hi, it's Tobias McCurry.
Perfect.
And so what are we drinking today?
I don't know, you brought it.
I literally can't pronounce it, I don't think. It's not
It
English.
is French.
Tavel.
Tavel.
Chateau de Sangrise.
Tavelbat. Is that my name?
Yes, it is now. Mise en bouteille au château, Château de Sigre, Tavel, appellation Tavel contrôlée.
All right, well,
So
that sounds like
That's-
something I'm drinking.
It's wine called Tavel, and it's red. That's what they're drinking.
It's
It is
real good.
technically-
Technically, it's
a rosé.
Yeah, it's a rosé.
Let me set the stage for you. It's brosé, by the way.
And the stems are really
All
good.
of us. Oh, look at the legs on that.
Yeah. It's true, that's how you
Kai actually just fixed the problem I was about to lay out. I was going to say that all of us have these really nice wine glasses out, and Kai at the table has his Taco Bell like giant cup, but then he got a bougie like pewter cup and is pouring meat in it because he's
I'm
smart.
pouring
Because
some
he's
huckleberry.
English.
Because he knew I was going to call him out on not having a bougie
This is
cup.
some huckleberry mead that I actually got a hold of from the Stream of Many Eyes.
What?
Yeah.
Did you mug them?
No. So some of the viewers of the Stream of Many Eyes dropped off quite a few bottles of a huckleberry mead, and they just kind of sat there in the back. A few people broke open a couple of them, but there were more kind of just left open, and everyone kind of assumed that it was someone else's.
I
So
worked
they were
so hard
lying
for
about
my
it.
swag, and you get that?
Yeah.
I took the bottle and I dropped one of the bottles off into the Siren's changing room, and then everyone packed up and no one took it with them. I'm like, well, I guess I'm taking this with me. So
Shiza Manelli.
Mine now.
it's pretty nice. Try some.
Shiza Manelli.
Wait, I thought
Is
you
that
were
a,
cheers.
is that
I
a
got
real
really excited
thing
about
that
that.
fell out of your face?
All right,
It really did.
Unbeknownst to most people that are listening, we usually have a goal in mind when it comes to what we're talking about.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I know, right? So we do have a topic, and this is actually a podcast about not wine and mead,
Yeah.
But it could be.
It could be.
but it isn't.
Okay, wait, I have a good idea right now.
Oh no.
As your characters, what kind of alcoholic drink would you drink? The Baron, go.
Absinthe.
Absinthe?
Yes, we
Ew.
actually no. Do you remember in Twin Mask? I had one of my group members make a faux absinthe that was brought to game, and the Baron just drank straight absinthe out of the bottle
Hurts.
because he was dealing with all of his terrible minions.
So you guys heard it here first. He sold his soul to absinthe.
I mean, yeah. I'm also Tobias is a steampunk, so
You are.
that's kind of our gig.
Yeah.
Shut up! I'm a glue gear on you.
All right, Sicarial, what would you drink?
Sicarial has his own private stock that is brought from Dace, and he only brings it out on special occasions when he wants to talk to diplomats or deal with trade.
Bougie.
Jeez. That's
Should have
wow.
gotten better coping mechanisms like straight absinthe.
All
So-
right, Mr. Captain of the Guard.
Well, I mean, you're assuming that I'm going to talk about Twin Mask.
Yeah, I was actually
Oh.
typecast as my twin mask character.
Yes, you
instead
were.
of
You didn't get a
Jebediah.
choice. You didn't get a
You
choice.
did not get a choice.
So I'm gonna break the mold there, or the tradition, and I'm gonna talk about my rockabilly diesel jock character in Dystopia Rising.
Oh.
And I will say that he would probably drink as
Straight
his
gasoline.
I was gonna say gas can rum,
Close.
which is for those of you who may or may not be aware of Wasteland Weekend. If you're not, Google it. It's really cool. I have on several occasions hung out with tribes out there that have made. Over the year, brewed gas can rum, and they bring a big gas can full of it, like a jerry can
Dear
full
God.
of it, and yeah,
And it's dead by the end of the weekend.
it is. Yeah, well, that or most people drinking it.
Or most people are dead by the end of the weekend.
Or you can use it in your vehicles and power them up to get home.
Oh, you're not wrong. having had some of this go through my engine system is definitely a matter of like, this is how I die. Like, you watch Mad Max and you cringe when you see like one of the war boys drink gasoline, and then you like imagine that, but it's you now.
So this is your liver. This is your liver on gasoline.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Alcoholism.
Wow.
Right. So
Sin?
sin. We have a sin.
Yeah. There's
What are you sinning about?
there's 8 deadly sins. I am the 8th.
No, the 8th is pride again,
No,
and the 9th is butt stuff.
wow. Way to steal my line, Toby.
It's Tobias, thank you.
No, now it's Toby because you stole my line.
Was your line to tell people about the 9th sin or the 8th sin, which is pride again?
I'm the 8th.
Nah, it's pride again.
No, it's not.
Definitely
Anywho, back
is.
to my character. Jesus.
It's about butt stuff.
Oh, you play butt stuff?
I know, that's all him over here.
Yeah, high five.
All right, butt stuff.
As
Okay.
no one knows that we're like pointing at this. Well then fine, I'm gonna follow in Kai's footsteps and I'm gonna talk about my character Lola. She drinks blood.
That's not fair. She's a vampire. It's just blood.
But there's very specific blood wine that she drinks.
blood wine.
Yes.
And you thought Zachariel was bougie?
Well, gosh, if Zachariah and Lola ever got together, like there would be a sass off.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There'd be a sass
Oh
off.
yeah, and then in the end it'd be like, well, it's also my country. You can move, bitch.
Oh, man, you're not wrong.
Or Lola just outlives him.
Thank you.
She'd just leave and wait until you died.
Yeah. Or hire people. I'm not going to talk about that because
Okay.
that's revealing plot.
So-
my drink would be from Prince Gray's Vineyard, blood wine. Probably a, oh golly, if I had my druthers, a 1996 Malbec.
So, like, some dude called Malbec.
No.
That was
no.
born in 1996 or died in
No,
1996.
no.
Like,
We're not going to talk
how do
about
you
how the
cover
wine's
the
actually
vintages?
made because technically it's not blood wine, but everyone seems
Also,
to think it
wouldn't
is.
96 be like yesterday to a vampire?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
you
It's a
should,
bad
you
year.
should, yeah, you should definitely get like a finer year if you're gonna be as bougie as you're trying to be.
Yeah.
Why does this taste like vanilla ice?
Oh, vanilla
Oh.
ice, baby. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, so I know which half of the table I'm on. Kai, why did that just happen?
I see. I'm witnessing this as well, and I'm on the same side of the table as you. So
Yeah, just at this point, just kill the bottle.
I mean, it is
Kill
getting
the
killed.
bottle.
It is
Kill-
definitely.
I'm not going to
getting
kill the
killed.
bottle.
All right, so
Fine, I'm going to kill the bottle.
viewers, as you can tell, we are enjoying the drink. That is a housewife portion.
Not what I'm pouring!
Holy!
That's
Wow,
Well-
that was amazing.
well played, Kai.
Edelon
Well
didn't
played.
work, okay?
That's fair enough.
That's half, right?
Yeah, I'll cheers to housewife
I'll
portion.
choose the housewife portions.
Oh,
Cheers,
wait.
me, Kai.
I gotta take a picture of that so
Okay,
people
so-
understand what that meant.
Yeah. So we do actually have a purpose for this episode.
But do we?
Yes, we do.
Fine.
Ryan.
We have
Yeah.
a purpose for this episode.
The
Stares at Ryan. Hey, Ryan. But what if you knew what our purpose was?
I know exactly what this purpose is.
See.
So today I met with my friend Steph, who I've known for 15 years, and we've met each other at a LARP. We're both playing Bruja.
Your shirt has a snitch.
And my shirt has a snitch, yes. And because she and I went shopping at Lunchbox, and I found this shirt for $10, so I'm like, I'm gonna grab it.
What
And-
topics did we just switch like on a dime?
Well,
Sorry.
I'm.
You haven't
Goodness.
you've had like half a glass of wine.
Yeah,
I had a hard
It's
day
been
at
a
work.
long day at work.
I did too.
Stood out in the sun for 20 minutes.
Oh,
Oh man, Emma.
Oh my god.
If you only knew the stuff that I actually do at work,
fair.
you would probably panic and die.
I mean,
Does it involve you also shortening Kai's name to something because he's done something bad now?
No, but I'll work on that.
All right,
we can just keep calling you Toby.
shut up, Mr. K.
So, anyways, like back to topic and the topic that I want to introduce.
Okay.
So, as I was talking about my friend Steph, that we've known each other for 15 years, and only yesterday, or I think a couple of days ago, she mentioned that she was coming to LA from San Francisco because she wanted to go to costume college. And I just kind of had all this free time. I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and hang out. But one of the things that I have actually learned over my time in LARPing for as many years as I have is the amount of deep friendships we've developed just over time with people that we may not see for very long periods of time, and we come across them again as if time hasn't stopped. So a lot of this topic for today is just some of the friendships and relationships that we've kind of just developed over the years through this common activity called LARP. For next week, I'll be heading out to Gen Con, and it's surreal that people who I
Just
haven't...
you, huh?
Yeah, just me. No, and Kai as well.
Kai and me.
Kai, and Tobias.
I unfortunately will not be there.
You will be there in spirit.
So in spirit, actually, I'm holding down the fort for Twin Mask.
Yeah.
You are.
I was gonna say you can just fit in my LARP bag.
I totally can.
I know you can. That's why I said it. I'm not dumb.
Moving on.
And moving on, but there are people who I haven't seen in over 10 years, and I said, I'm going to Gen Con. It's like, I'm going to go to Gen Con. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
seeing those
surreal,
people you
just-
haven't seen in years.
In literally years. And some people who I have never actually met. And they said, I want to meet up with you because we've corresponded in email, we've had lots of group discussions, but we've never met, but I want to finally meet you.
For sure.
And this is for all of the people that have had those deep relationships in character, but they end up blossoming into real life relationships, not just friendships, but also romantic relationships, as well as marriages and everything else.
Sure.
Oh man, I'm afraid of commitment. Don't go there.
I have my own issues with commitment. I'm totally willing to
Wow,
commit.
this got real quick.
Okay, so
Yeah,
the
let's,
wine is talking.
yeah.
The wine is talking.
Keep this light. I've got to say, some of my closest friends, there's that kind of whole philosophy of there's the family you're born with, and then there's the family you choose. And some of, not all of, but some of my closest chosen family members are a group of players that I've mentioned them before. It's like a part of the Dystopia Rising post-apocalyptic biker gang that we're a part of. It's basically all of the goth kids just kind of
Not
gravitated to each other and started hanging out because we all started making kind of similar characters, and it just kind of blossomed from there. I think, Ryan, you said blossomed earlier, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, like it's brilliant terminology for what it is. But those people they started out as people I did not know. The very first time I met almost all of them was in character. They met my character, not me. And then after the better part of 24 to 36 hours, that's when they started to actually get to meet the real me at a pizza place afterwards, after we'd all packed up and finished the game. And those people are people that I can't imagine not having in my life now, because they are such wonderful people. And there's no way I would have met them if it weren't for that.
That's how I feel about Arcana High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good nerds.
That
Good nerds.
that became family. So I'm gonna give you guys a personal story here about that.
Okay.
Kaylee, who plays Luna, my character's best friend on the show. A lot of you have probably heard about me talk about my anxiety and my panic attacks that occur. I had a really strong attack happen during Stream of Many Eyes, to which I couldn't even leave my bed, and that's unusual for me. I've never had that bad of an attack. I did call the 3 people that I knew that needed to know what was happening to me. Sure. And then Kaylee stepped in like the freaking angel that she was. And I've never had a friend do this for me. She found out what was going on. Her mom's a nurse, so she was able to assess what was happening to me pretty quick. She went to the store. She picked up all my favorite things that I wanted to eat or needed to eat. Drove to my house. Those of you who probably are unfamiliar with SoCal geography, the event was in Hollywood, and I live in Santa Clarita, and she lives in North Hollywood. She drove from North Hollywood to my house, which is about 25 minutes away from her house, 40 minutes away from Hollywood. That's a huge out-of-the-way inconvenience drive. Drove to me, made sure that I got into the car, and got me to Stream of Many Eyes. And because of her, I was able to actually finish the show for Stream of Many Eyes. Like, the last day, I would not have made it without her. She gave me all the medicine that I needed to survive. She gave me the confidence and courage to survive. And I've never had anyone in my life do that for me. So, building a family. Like, Arcana High truly is my family. Like, Courtney and I are like sisters. She and I had a sister world day. It was amazing. I won't talk about it all that much, but we had a day. We had a girl day.
Did you meet through Arcana High?
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Yeah, so I met Kaylee actually through the one-off vampire gig.
Oh yeah, with Bruce.
Yeah, where Kai and I played undercover lovers, who his dead wife was actually in the room, played by Kaylee.
Yeah, that was a fun moment.
And after that moment, Kaylee and I became cool, and then when you started up Arcana High, she and I were like, well, we know each other, so let's BFF it up, and then it became a whole family thing. And then knowing Joey, I've known Joey for years in high school. Oh, well, he was in high school, I was in college. Or I forgot, man. There's so many years. Anyway, so I've known Joey. Like, he's like right? He's a little brother. PJ, I had just met, and he was amazing. Still is amazing. Courtney is like a sister to me, and obviously Ryan, you've been family for years. So, like, it just became freaking family. Like, and I totally get it. Like, without them, like, life as I know it would not exist. And Kai being in my world as well is just, like, you guys are also my family too. It's amazing. Networking
this is the most
emotional
episode that's going to be on here.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's really a testament to the relationships we build through these events, and it's not even limited to LARP. Like, look at online gaming. A lot of the people that I brought into LARP and have met were actually through in my dark days of playing on role-playing servers in World of Warcraft. We have 2 really awesome role players in the SoCal group, Andrew Jerome and Evan Ohl. I don't know if either of you have met them.
Oh, I know Andrew.
You know Andrew well.
I know Andrew.
So
apparently I need to know him.
He's great. I love him.
He played Nivius, who was the counter person to Sicario. They were...
Oh, snap.
They were, in certain ways, very similar, but also very opposite. And during the dark future, they were... Like, he was torturing Sicario because he had taken over everything. It was awesome. It was also very hard, but what was great was, with someone like Andrew, for someone who's playing such an evil character, we both helped each other out of our bleed.
Yeah.
And that was important to me.
I'm sorry for bringing another great antagonist into the world. But yeah, no,
Are you really sorry?
Not even a little.
No.
When they're great antagonists, I'm not sorry. But I had met him through role-playing World of Warcraft, and we did a lot of content generation and, like, kind of DM'd stories for people. Andrew did a vast majority of the awesome DMing, and so when I came down to SoCal for a LARP, I was like, hey, Andrew, you want to come, like, rock out? And he's like, yeah, sure. And welcome to the party. So yeah, it's about the really strong bonds of relationship that you make in anywhere, like through any hobby, that will carry over into any vastly networked eventing situation. Just bringing him into LARP is a coincidence, but it definitely got him involved in an entirely different community, where he now kicks ass and takes names. Like, he's doing a lot of development for Twin Mask now. If we didn't drag him to a Dystopia Rising game, would he be doing LARP right now? I don't know. Would he know all these people? Would we know him? Like, that kind of level.
Just thinking about both Arcana High and some of the other things that have happened. What's been interesting about Arcana High is that it originally started with Ryan wanted to just run a D&D game so that I could understand it better. And so I just asked a bunch of people, like, okay, who's willing to play in a game with me? Because I'm still trying to figure out how to...
Me.
Thank you,
I want to play a game.
Tomorrow.
Are you DMing tomorrow?
I'm the DM.
Yes! I'm so hyped now.
What do you think I was talking about?
I don't know.
So, the thing is, I was expecting maybe like 5 or 10 people to say, yeah, I can help, and then I had a lot more responses than that. And then my gut kind of went, okay, who do I feel like it would be fun to roleplay with? And I didn't realize that all of you didn't know each other. Or like barely knew each other, and yet the very first game, you were willing to go at it. And I think the reason why is because everyone had either a LARP background or an interactive theatrical background.
Yes.
So we were all willing to do PvP. But I even remember, even in the first game, even if it was joking, just everyone making the heart signs or saying "I love you" and just literally going at it.
Oh yeah, CVC
Damn
is one
you,
of
Courtney!
Like, if you could do it with a group of friends, CVC/PvP is my favorite aspect of any game.
But the interesting thing is, the first game, we didn't really know each other.
And that happened first game, and that's shocking.
Yeah, but nah, it's not shocking because I do it all the time. I'm so trigger happy, it's not okay. But so long as you have people who are willing to like devote themselves into that conflict, and it's really no hard feelings.
Yeah.
It
Like,
really isn't, yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
A lot of people make it, like, a lot of newer role players and things like that, or they take personal offense to those actions that the character makes against another character.
And I think a safe way to like approach that though is if you feel like it's like hitting you hard or it's triggering something, like it's nice to pull that person aside and say, "Hey, yo, this is what hit me." Like,
out of character it, be like, "Hey man, let's avoid that conflict."
Yeah.
And like generally, I'm provoked. I'm not just going to go out of my way to hit somebody.
Yeah.
But there was actually I played a game recently with a situation where they had a crit fail, and they had some terrible situation where I got hit. I absolutely shot them with a fireball. Hell no! I was like, and here I am committing the first act of CVC in this one shot, also with people I don't know.
Nice.
But I mean, it was all totally fine. It was quite hilarious. One of the other players gave me kudos, and I was pleased with that. But yeah, you can always explore conflict safely.
Yeah, it's always interesting to do that PvP and play that villainous type character for the first time meeting someone, because I did that in the Vampire One Shot when I was playing Lucretia, and I was just like, all right, here we go, balls to the wall, like I'm just gonna be the bitchiest, yeah, and a lot of people actually came up to me afterwards. They're like, "Oh, your character's cool." I was like, "I was so mean to you. Why would you say that?"
Yeah, no, I mean that's actually one of the reasons why I have adopted the term CVC over PvP. Is because player versus player gets a little
right. Character versus
personal.
character is better. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did
although
that.
I was very married to the PvP terminology for a very long time until I actually thought about it. I was like, no, I don't hate you, little Timmy.
Yeah.
My character hates the shit out of your character, though. And we're gonna fight about it.
Here, here, sir.
Here, here. Let's fight about it.
Yes.
So, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I find it interesting. I am much more of the philosophy that when you're engaging in like aggressive actions against another person, you should always kind of get to know them a bit, or at least check in, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
That said, there is such a thing as like kind of the opt-in experience. Like, or sorry, not opt-in, more buy-in experience. For example, with Arcana High, it's high school. which means that you know that characters aren't going to be trying to kill each other.
It's
They're not.
lower stakes, yeah.
Yeah, it's different stakes for it.
Yes, it is.
And because of that different stakes and the kind of idea of like, oh well, I make sleight of hand checks against PJ's character all the time. Every time I succeed, I steal his glasses.
Oh my god, it's so much fun.
And
as a DM.
PJ has the shades on him, often just kind of hanging off
You're
his
the
shirt
worst.
and stuff. And every time
Really
that
is.
happens, Ryan just kind of reaches over and just either takes them or gets them handed to them, and then he hands them to me. And then after a few minutes, I just kind of flip them open and put them on. And
at the right
It's
the
adorable.
opportune time.
It's
It's so
great.
much fun.
Wait, is the game tomorrow streamed?
No.
Oh, thank God. I was like, oh God.
Sorry,
so
Bill.
one of the reasons why the stream worked so well, and I know I'm deviating slightly here, but one of the reasons that the stream worked so well was because it was a comfortable environment, and because players had a chance to play a few games of it being just a normal tabletop game before it became a stream. And now
That's
that
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now that the season has ended,
Mhm.
there are going to be more offline games that Ryan is going to be running, and maybe Arcana High will come back.
Season
for
2.
others
I
to
Tell
hope
your
see.
so.
friends.
I hope
If
so.
not,
I'll show
Yeah.
up.
If not, I mean, personally, I am much more in favor of the idea of potentially recording some of the Arcana sessions. Or it actually goes by a different, more secret name. Arcana High is the name that was given for it for the Maze Arcana feed.
Yeah.
However, rolling back to what I was originally...
Can I say one thing
Go
just
ahead.
very quickly? One of the most flattering things that I've ever heard recently came from Steven Sprinkles. I can actually say that name now because, for the longest time, we
Why
were
is that name important?
that name is important is because he's been a long time producer, since the beginning of Geek and Sundry, as well as Game Grumps. So
Very cool.
So huge, major, influential thing. A person who's been behind the successes of a lot of these major groups. And one of the things that he told me, which I'll never forget, and he only told me this 2 days ago, he said, I listen to a lot of streams, and I don't always remember what they do in those games, but I remember every instance of Arcana High.
Oh, goodness.
That's really rad.
I heard that, and I gave him a big hug. I was like,
I am so hyped to play
I
them
said
right now.
I said I was very flattered that for someone who is as experienced as he is, he said, I remember every bit of your game because I love your game.
For those who haven't actually gotten a chance to catch it yet, I would encourage you guys to check out. It's on the Maze Arcana Twitch channel. I'm pretty sure after a little bit, those will end up on YouTube as well.
I believe so.
I hope so.
I hope
They
so.
damn well should.
They should.
Because they're great. Not only because most of us are involved in it. I mean, all of your regular hosts on this show are members of the of it.
Yes.
I'm about to be.
Yeah.
Kicking down the door.
But it's a wonderful experience, and there's a lot of really fun, entertaining improv. I get to play the class prankster, and so
No one was surprised.
I come up with really stupid, foolish
Yeah, you do.
ideas. Yep.
I love them though. I love them so much.
I come up with completely what's the Saved by the Bell jokester character? I don't remember his name.
Zach
Screech?
Morris.
No.
Screech.
No.
It was Screech.
It's like a mixture of Screech and then the bro, the workout dude.
Oh, Slater.
Yeah, kind of a halfway point between Slater and Screech, if any of you
Oh yeah,
watched.
that's right. PJ is Zach Morris.
Zach
Uh-huh,
Morris,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
yeah, Thorjohn by Halfling has a little bit of the silly, but also a little bit of the sneaky. He's super fun. I like playing him.
Is
I'm
there-
really grateful for the character that Ryan wrote for me actually in that one.
Yeah.
Because
Really
I didn't
hyped for
make
my
my
character.
character. I joined a little later, and I got given a few choices of members of the class to be. And I kind of went for the buy-in of who do you think I would play best? And he felt that I would play Thorjon pretty well. And Ryan has come up with a web of information about these characters. There are lots of kind of relationship trees.
I love
of
my relationship tree.
True statement.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
of character the
I'm so hyped.
interactions between certain characters and stuff. I would love to see at some point in time some kind of yarn and photo board of
Oh no. Oh no.
friend, frenemy being a different color string, friend being
Friend
a
of
different
my
thing,
frenemy equals
ex,
my...
ex-partner,
Oh, yeah.
or active partner, and so forth, just
Rivals,
bouncing all
oh my
over the
God,
place.
yeah.
Was my partner yesterday.
Right?
If you play the character that we think you might be playing, you have a girlfriend already.
Yeah, but he's an incubus, right?
Huh?
Effectively.
Tiefling.
Is
He's
he?
tiefling.
Yeah, so he's effectively an incubus. I heard they were a stripper and a tiefling, so that's pretty much an incubus.
Except there's a more complicated version than he's just a stripper. For this particular plot,
Oh no.
the reason why he is a stripper is because he realizes that he has a certain body, but he also needed to feed his family, and he's like, if I could do this with my body, it's like, if I could do this with my body, why not? And because I'm gonna go to war, so I'm not gonna live long. So that's his motivation. He realizes that he's not gonna live long, so I might as well do whatever it is, and I don't care what people think.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's real.
So he's very straightforward, and he also loves gaming because it's his only escape.
He's a really cool character. We just haven't gotten to explore him enough because NPC.
Secrets.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
solid.
So, I know I've once again gone on an amazingly weird tangent again, but so listeners, if you feel like some of that sounds really fun, it's a lot of high school drama and things. There may or
Which
may
sounds awful though.
there may or may not be but it's fun to watch. It's kind of like a slow motion car crash.
It is totally like that.
You're
What?
not wrong.
Nothing. Never mind. I didn't say anything. I will say that there may or may not be a baby rust monster involved in one of my pranks.
Oh, damn it, Rusty.
It was so good.
Kai came up with the idea of Rusty, and one thing that's been wonderful about Arcana High is that we do play with the yes and philosophy.
As it should
So
be
there
for
was-
anything.
So there was no idea of a baby rust monster, so he said, I feel like I want to find a baby rust monster. So I provided a means for him to find it, but I didn't make it very easy.
Nope.
So of course your friend Farron decided I'm gonna get this for you, and of course it's missing, so you have to find it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that sections, and for those who like D&D, I've always known that rust monsters are not naturally aggressive. They're just kind of hungry.
Yes.
So they love adventurers. They actually want to give you a nice friendly hug and rub their antenna all over your metal armor, which will then dissolve.
So basically a Labrador Retriever.
Yeah, they're basically a giant, six-legged, kind of grasshopper cockroach, about the size of a dog, with weird, long feelers that come out of their head, and a weird kind of club-like tail. And if they feel threatened, they'll attack you with the tail. But most of the time, they just touch metal with their feelers that look like kind of long ferns, and they're all brown. And so they touch it, and it just dissolves and rusts up stuff, and then it just eats all of the rust. It's a really weird monster, but it's a classic first ed D&D monster, and it's kind of stayed in the books because it's a staple creature. And I love those creatures, but they're canine intelligence, so you can actually train them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why
which-
you have him as a companion now.
Yeah, it just works out kind of perfect. Listeners, if you get the chance, check it out. It's pretty fun. Moving back to the tangent originally.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone.
Right? Yeah. So in regards to LARP and stuff, I mentioned about the different schools of thought when it comes to things. You should always remember that players are more important than the game.
Yes.
And
Every time.
if you get any kind of impression that while you're playing a game with anyone, and they're not having fun, you should, I mean, you're not expected to baby them, but you should check in on them to make sure that they are having fun with you, because if only one person is having fun, it's like a bad relationship.
No, it's just bullying.
Yeah. I mean, it's all of those things,
Yeah.
really. You know, like, however you want to long-term or short-term kind of analyze it. Everyone is there to have fun. Therefore, everyone should try to have fun. And there are obviously problems and things like that. People might have moments of anxiety, and you know, there's a lot of unexpected things that may or may not happen that are out of people's control.
And you'll have to account for those.
Exactly. But you know, just, you know, making a little bit of a check-in of, like, if you're being like a fun, if you're having fun being an in-character asshole to someone, and, you know, after you've had that really cool scene, you're like, that was really good. Check in on that person to make sure that they know that.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
I had a really wonderful player in Dystopia Rising out of Colorado, who, off the bat, we were the worst to each other. We're both doctors. We're both professionals in our field. I tried to offer help to them. They're like, nah, fuck you and your crazy science bullshit. I have my science bullshit over here. And it all just kind of went downhill. And we were absolutely antagonists. Didn't know each other right out the gate for the entirety of the game. At the end of the game, we were cleaning up in the same area. And we kind of looked over like, hey, what's up? You have fun? It's like, oh, good, you don't actually hate me. This is great. And everything was better.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Piggybacking off your point.
Absolutely.
Consent. I'm going to bring that up.
Yeah, that's an entirely...
Yes.
That's a huge topic.
It is, and it's very, very important.
We could have
Consent.
like 5 episodes on
Right?
that.
I know, right? Golly, geez. I want to bring up the fact that there's something that happened in past. I won't talk about, like, what event it was, and I won't talk about who it was. It didn't happen to me, but it happened to someone that's very, very close to me. Consent.
Always.
Even if you think that you are a strong person, always bring it up for the person that may not be as strong as you. So there was an incident that occurred where somebody grabbed somebody inappropriately.
That's not okay.
That person was like, okay, well, that was in character and that was weird, but whatever. When I heard about it, I said to said person, we need to bring this up, not necessarily for you, because I know you're strong and you're a strong woman, but for the person who can't talk about it. That is a huge thing. And so the problem was taken care of, and it's amazing how the community got, like, band together over said situation.
And they often will.
And I'm so proud of my community that did it. Those who are listening know what I'm talking about. And I'm so proud of the community that, like, really, really, really just stepped up and was like, this is not right, this is not cool. However, it did happen to somebody that was really, that's really precious to me. And I was not okay with it, which is what prompted me to go talk about it. And I said to said person, I was like, it's okay that you didn't want to bring it up, and I understand that you wanted to be the strong person, but in this situation...
It's not about strength, it's principle.
Right. Yeah, but sometimes people feel very uncomfortable talking about something like that, thinking that they shouldn't do that because they don't need to talk about it. They're stronger than that.
The bringing it up is the strength thing. But the reason we have to talk about it is
Say that again.
I don't... What? Did I just...
Bringing up is the strength part of it.
Yeah. Bringing it up is absolutely a piece of, like, reputational strength, and, like, if I bring it up, then I have a reputation that follows me.
And that is the hardest part for people to do, and I had to do it on behalf of somebody, and that was really hard for me because I didn't want to betray trust. But needless to say, just because you're strong doesn't mean that the person next to you is as strong as you. So if something happens to you and you know that this person poses a threat to other people, bring it up.
But there are also ways to bring it up.
Yes.
I think that's also very important to touch on when you go into this topic.
Absolutely.
Making your giant Facebook post and screaming to the hills
that's not the way to do it.
Will never solve a problem. No. And I've seen it happen a dozen times or more. And it never helps anyone trying to solve the situation, because suddenly you've muddied waters, and the people who can help solve the problem can't get to the bottom of it because they're now hearing 18 perspectives, 19 of which didn't witness it. Agreed.
Agreed. Just please bring it up when you can and when you feel comfortable and to the appropriate people. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill on it.
And it's not even necessarily making a mountain out of an anthill. It's the idea that people
what have
are
you got
going
against moles?
Sorry, molehill, whatever. It's the point that should you expand a situation in a way that does not help people get down to the information they need to solve the problem, it just makes it worse for literally everyone, including the person who is concerned or has been offended against.
Anyway, sorry to bring it down.
No.
This is an extremely important topic, and like when I was on here, we were talking about antagonism in roleplay.
Yeah,
this is kind of the same topic. Consent is a big deal. And as far as consent being breached is concerned, there are ways to approach that appropriately.
No, that's absolutely true on that. Actually piggybacking off of that a little bit, something that I am facing very soon, and I'm a little terrified but super excited about, especially because I have a lot of good people helping me with it, is
hey, it's me.
Yeah, I'm going to be running my first LARP. It is a networked LARP, which means that I will be having a lot more people showing up. I'll be having a lot of people with expectations, for example, and a lot of that is going to be extra stress, and I'm hoping that people are going to be as understanding as possible. But when it comes to running a LARP, at least from the perspective that I'm now learning, even before my first game has even started, I'm understanding how important it is that whenever possible, you should bring up a problem to the people running the event. If you need to have a little bit of...
if you need a confidant or a friend, that's different.
I absolutely. And I was going to say, if you need a little bit of solidarity or a moment to vent with a friend, then please, by all means do that. That is not bad, that is good, that is self-care. But definitely take it to the people running it, and rather than kind of blasting it on social media or something. Because if you can take it to them first, it allows them to try and solve the issue with you or for you, because there are multiple types of things that might be an issue that you don't want to fight that battle. You want to say it's a problem, and then you want to step away from it because it's not fair for you to be the person fighting that battle. It shouldn't be. And so whether you want to fight that battle or not, I will always encourage people, try and go through the proper authorities first, at least in regards to the people running the event. If you think it needs bigger authority than that, then absolutely go to the police.
110%.
But I mean,
without a question.
Yeah.
If it is an offense that requires police intervention, please let your event organizer know that you're calling the cops. But overall, no, you should absolutely call the cops. 100%. Yep, every time.
There's a big difference between asking your event runner to look into a problem and potentially taking it into your own hands and trying to participate in more of a call out for it, as those things can often have the almost opposite effect than you intend.
Correct.
I've seen it now several times that such events have happened, which is a shame because I really don't like it when people get put into situations where they feel unsafe or have a problem big enough that they are upset or outraged or hurt by. But if you start making it into making is a wrong term. If you broadcast it without allowing an opportunity for it to be fixed through the proper channels and the proper policy of the game in question, if you don't let those people running the event try to police their own event, then as one step, you're kind of telling them that you don't trust them to look after you, which is kind of an unfortunate statement, and it's not the best way to kind of handle it. But also, I know I'm kind of babbling right now.
You're good.
No, you're good.
Sorry, my brain's not working here, so
It's
we might have to
okay.
cut
It's
out
okay.
a little bit.
No
here.
problem.
I feel like you just went to a Dystopia Rising Directors Retreat where you got
maybe.
rain training.
Sure.
So real quick, while we're having a brain fart,
No, let me focus
Okay.
on what I was trying to remember, because I'm losing it, and
No
the
problem.
more okay, so to continue, as I was saying, the secondary effect that I've seen potentially happen on several occasions now is people will forget the victim. People will forget the offender as well. All of those things will kind of fade over time. If someone is ejected out of the community, then they will disappear, and people will be safe again, and that's the intent, and that is the good thing to happen. But if things get broadcast in a very public manner without allowing the directors a chance to actually make things right in their own game, what can happen is people will forget the victim, they will forget the offender, but they won't forget the game. And the game will
They won't
keep...
forget everything that got related to the game.
That's the point. They will... that black stain will stay on the game, and people will go, oh, you know, I don't remember who did it or who was involved, but I remember this one thing happened at that one game. And it ends up hurting that game, which might not be your intent. So that is something to consider. Always give the people running the game, if you really love the game, give the people running the game the chance to make things right for you. As more often than not, they will do the right thing.
And
But yeah.
what I was going to say is that if your intent in dealing with this offender is to actually break the game, shame on you. Really, you need to allow the game to help you whenever you are dealing with something that is serious. And even though it feels like it could be a deviation from the original topic, which is about friendship, a lot of friendship is based off of an important level of trust, of faith in the person, and a mutual understanding and respect. And by establishing those levels, you can allow a friendship to happen and to blossom. And it might be as simple as sometimes the home game that we have, where you're dealing with CVC, but knowing that in the end you will all go out to dinner and have a fun time. But it can also happen in a group of 30, 60, 100 people, where you know that when something wrong happens, that there are people that you can depend on, whether it's your own personal circle of people or the people that are running the game for you, to make sure that they have your back. And then
more often than not, the entirety of the community will have the individual's back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So on that note, with friendship and all, we totally skipped this in the beginning of the episode. But do we have any shout outs for people?
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Like, my first shout out.
My mom.
My first shout out is going to be our Patreon people that have actually been supporting us, especially recently, because we have not been releasing content that often, but they have been. Yes, there's a Patreon for Live Action Roleplay. We have not been releasing things that often, but I also know that they understand that we've been doing things on Arcana High and doing
Well, yeah,
our
you
own
have other content you're generating.
Right. And Sin and I have been working on Labyrinth. Kai has Dystopia Rising NorCal, and we are. I know, like, and the thing is, a lot of these things also just happens during the summer when it's just a busy convention time.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very grateful to a lot of our Patreon supporters that are supporting us during this time while we are doing these things, and at the same time being able to have a platform to talk about LARP and about these issues, because it does get back to people, especially people who have a much bigger reach than we do. And it's been amazing to kind of see the number of people that have been talking about LARP more prominently, and it doesn't have, it's strange, it doesn't
it's
have
on
the
the
stigma.
upswing.
Yeah.
Like in America, like LARP has become a much bigger deal, and it's really important that there are mainstream outlets
Yes.
for people who are interested in the hobby to understand every aspect of it, because there are a lot of people out there who want to study, who want to understand what a thing is before diving into the deep end, and live action roleplay really helps with that.
Something actually to even draw on this when it comes to LARPs, at least. In Europe, we have a few European listeners, and we super appreciate you guys.
Hey, what do you know about Europe?
Well, I mean, I was born there, so shut up.
You're an American citizen now. We took you.
I am. Anyway, so great, you made me forget what I was saying.
Oh,
That's fine. All right, so
Citizenship does that to Americans.
hush your butt. So, what I was saying is that unlike Europe, where LARP is seen as a more widespread kind of hobby, and while in America, large games have like 100 or 200 or several hundred people playing, there are LARPs in across the world, not in America, Canada, Germany, Russia,
Weekling Legacies.
Poland,
Poland, most
Brazil. Oh my god.
I don't know anything about
Really?
Brazil, but I believe it.
Brazil is huge LARPing
That
community.
sounds awesome.
Giant.
What's
We have,
up
a
with
lot of,
Brazil?
we have a lot of fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah. from
Hi,
there.
Brazil.
Yeah, they're real cool.
So, with how widespread LARP is, America is, interestingly enough, a little behind the times.
Yep.
As it often is.
They're slowly trying to catch up, and I'm very hopeful that companies like Dystopia Rising are the ones that can bring this to the forefront, because they want to treat LARP like a business. Rather than, I've noticed a lot of LARPs in America still are in the more closed mindset, where it's like, my LARP isn't a business, my LARP is a hobby.
It's kind of the independent theater thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very much so.
Having run both LARP and independent
And
theater.
how about you explain what you mean exactly by independent theater?
Sure. A lot of people do the arts, i.e. independent theater, as a hobby to communicate prominent and controversial issues, which is real, especially because in mainstream theater, it's really hard to deliver controversial content to the masses. So there are theatrical companies across the U.S. and the world, but we're talking here right now, that are treated more as hobbies, because there's no way that these controversial topics, they're not Disney. Like, they're not going to get the funding to do the level of what they need or want to do. So you get a lot of very smaller theater companies that will perform productions that would never go to a big theater, because the audience, no one wants to feel uncomfortable, but it's really important that we do. It's exploring topics that society needs to look at. So in this aspect, when I'm saying that, whoa, Kai just pointed a rubber band gun at me. I was very scared. In this aspect, wow, thanks, Kai. I'm gone, just like you.
Where did that land?
I don't know. That's why
You shot it?
left.
I did.
Anyway, so because you can't deliver it to mainstream media, it's very hard to market LARP that provides conflict and controversy to an audience that will, buy your tickets. And treating it like a business may make it a little more mainstream, sure, but it still opens up the art to a larger category of people. So as far as like hobbyists are concerned, they may not be making more controversial content, because as a business you have to be concerned about what you're bringing to the table. But the hobbyist LARPers will have a place once LARP in America becomes a bigger business.
I also wanted to tag back into what Sin had talked about like shoutouts, and tagging on to another thing, which is one of the things that has been important in Dungeons and Dragons, as well as LARP in general, is the idea of inclusivity.
Absolutely.
And adding more people to the gaming table. So in that, I want my shout out to go to Poisel. I am so ridiculously proud of them right now, in that they came to a game and LARPed with many of us in a private vampire game, to the point where people were so impressed with them that they included them onto a bigger platform, which was online gaming. And then recently they got a chance to be a DM themselves on Saving Throw for 2 episodes.
I'm so sad I got invited to be a part of that game, and I was really mad that I did not have the time for that.
And they did a Shadowrun game
that's my city.
on Saving Throw, and then now they're going to be included at Gen Con on the inclusivity panel.
Yeah.
I love it.
And for someone who is non-binary to be included on inclusivity panel, I
That's super
am
important.
so proud of seeing how fast that progress is. But it's because Poisel, I feel like, was ready for that to happen and is a good representative of that portion of the community that represents many people who are role players today.
Absolutely. And one of the really nice things is a lot of these communities fall into like our wonderful nerddom. Like, why don't we want you sitting at the table? That's not a thing. We are inclusive overall. And if you're not, I mean, go die in a fire.
That's a colorful way of putting it, but that is very much how.
I mean,
think
I
all
will
of
tell
us-
Tobias will tell someone to go die in a fire.
You mean Toby?
Oh!
Wow, I've never felt the urge to punch you in the head harder.
I'm gonna say because of wasting Tobias.
Thanks, Ming. I appreciate it, Ryan.
Words are hard.
Look, I'm
Let's
from
just
Liberal
come
Land,
at it.
Seattle. Like,
Poisel, I actually just got educated on the honorific mix.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
love
so-
that honorific.
Instead of Mr. or Miss.
It's mixed.
Oh, yeah.
mixed.
oh yes,
It's
no,
so
absolutely.
cool.
So yeah, no, I feel that Mix Poisel is an amazing spokesperson for this type of thing at Gen Con. And
I'm hype. I want to meet this person.
yeah,
Yes.
They
and
are
I
amazing.
will
They are
highlight.
I'm gonna give him a high five.
I will highlight that I'm in California. We are Californians.
Him.
Wait, shush. Therefore, Californians, dude is not gendered.
Oh,
in
that
the
is
slightest.
very true.
That's so true.
So
That's fair,
when
my
I
dude.
say that Poisel is an amazing dude and super qualified for how they're getting involved in all of this, I just wanted to preface that because some people might be like, not necessarily catch that. It's kind of amusing how in California we call everything dudes.
Faucets.
Yes,
This,
yes, we do.
this drink is my
This
dude.
drink is a dude.
People,
This drink is a
Is a
dude.
yes. Skipping just ever so slightly back because we have been drinking and I do
Yeah.
not entirely recall if I got my point across, but America is definitely needs to catch up on the global perception of LARP.
It will.
And I feel like once in a while, Role Models, the movie, Knights of Badassdom
I love
as
that
well.
movie.
Both of those were more favorable.
They're favorable but parodies.
Correct. I remember one of the first ever talks first ever episodes I got involved with you guys on was when we were talking about the Super Bowl ads that were really
I
derogatory
actually have a
towards LARP.
great follow-up to this.
That came up a year ago.
Literally a year ago.
So it came up literally a year ago,
Mhm.
and right after that, in September, I went to PAX.
Mhm.
So guess who was at the table with a bunch of ESPN executives?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
This motherfucker. So
Bleepity bleep bleep bleep.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so I went to a restaurant and they're like, hey, these are ESPN execs who are looking to look at esports. And I started chatting with them. I was like, hey guys, you guys made an ad campaign that just
Super offensive.
threw a bunch of nerds into oblivion, right? And they're like, wait, what? I was like, hey, yeah, watch this commercial you guys made. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, about that. You know those people, you're trying to do esports, right? That's why you're here? They're like, yeah. I'm like, cool. You literally just took your target audience and threw it in a dumpster. How's that feel, man?
Good job, Tobias. Wow.
To be fair, they were super nice, and they were really receptive. They're like, oh. It's like, yes, friends, that is how that works. You fight one nerd, you fight them all, I assure you. We were all bullied in high school, and therefore we band together.
Yeah.
Or middle school.
Speaking of banding together, I have my shout out. I did have 4, but I can't remember the last 2. But the first 2 are Chris Foster and Lauren Russ, who really handled the situation that I was talking about earlier. And they were fucking amazing. I am not bleeping that out.
Wow.
Fucking amazing.
Sorry.
So, yeah.
Beep,
Thank
beep,
you,
beep,
Chris,
beep,
and
beep.
thank you, Lauren, for taking care of said situation in the way that you did, and everybody else who was involved who helped me get contact with Chris and Lauren. Y'all are amazing too, but thank you, Chris and Lauren, for taking care of what you guys did. That was amazing.
Bravo. I realize, well, I don't remember how we got onto that topic that I led us into there, but oh yeah, now I recall. There's still a lot of stigma for LARPers in America.
Absolutely.
And I'm really looking forward as things kind of progress, and with Dungeons and Dragons on the rise. D&D, Wizards just recently announced that this has been the most successful year for Dungeons and Dragons in history.
Hell
Yes.
And so we have events like that. We have pieces of information like some of the bigger things that pop up on Kickstarter, or consistently high-grossing Kickstarters, shall I say.
Oh my god, yeah.
The most consistent high-grossing Kickstarter projects are board games.
Oh yeah, like when Thornwatch went live, I was working with Lone Shark at the time, and it went. It had a huge goal, and it was already completed in the first day, or less. It was a huge goal.
Yeah. And not just board games, but accessories.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god, like
So many amazing things.
Like Kraken Dice.
Oh yeah.
Kraken Dice made like nearly $1 million, and we also have like Noble Dwarf that within like the first 12 hours, I believe, made its goal, but they have a lot of stretch goals.
Well, yeah, that's how you run a successful
And
campaign.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
that.
You pitch low, and
Yeah.
then you have a number of stretch goals.
And Noble Dwarf has like this basically like this grimoire book that they are making.
That's so cool.
That
Absolutely.
like all the stuff is like parchment, but it's all like printed.
Actually, in fact, that book, there is a review of that book.
Did you write
That
one?
was recorded by B. Dave Walters. You can find him on. I'm pretty sure he posted that up on Twitter.
Yep.
And it's on their Kickstarter actually.
And it's on all of our Twitters.
it's on there-
Most of our
mhm.
Twitters.
It's not on
So
Yeah.
there was a recording of a number of us, all of our hosts, involved in reviewing some of the products that particular Kickstarter produces. But what I'm saying with all of that is we are in a very, very prosperous and good era for people. Politically, America and the rest of the world, people are wanting to look at escapism. And that is why role-playing games and board games and immersion is so interesting to people. And that is why LARP is so close to America realizing how important LARP is going to be. So while we are lagging right now, it also kind of means that there's a bit of pioneering going on. It's a little late in the game for most of you Europeans and South
Americans.
South Americans.
Yes.
I don't know the correct terminology. I'm sorry. I'm not great at that. But yes, we're trying to catch up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how America puts its own kind of spin on that. Right?
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to tag on is that the thing that also impressed me about the Noble Dwarf Kickstarter was the inclusion of John Ross's testimony, because John Ross himself does not have like a very big social media presence, but because he is staff at Twin Mask, they realized this is a legitimate LARPer, and they wanted his endorsement. And and the fact that he spoke so concisely about the materials and the quality of that grimoire, in my head, is like, that meant that they actually
John Ross is amazing.
They meant this, and like, we love John Ross. He was our producer for Arcana High.
Yes, he was.
But at the same time, again, he doesn't have a large social media presence, but they wanted someone legitimately from that world.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact that he's there, like, I'm very happy.
Yeah. Do we have any overs?
Overs?
Yeah. Like anything else that we want to talk about?
I mean, I feel like there's a lot we could easily continue with this, but I feel like we're getting to a good kind of
Wrap up portion.
Yeah.
This has been it started off a little slapstick, and it's been
Story
it's
of
been
my
fun.
life.
Yeah,
Guys, it's like 110 degrees outside. Sorry.
that is an exaggeration, but it has been hot as hell,
Actually, no.
which
When I
is
got in
also
my-
an exaggeration.
It's
when I got in
110 to my
when I got in my
like,
car
heart.
today in Palmdale, it was 110 degrees.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that's gross.
The Washingtonian is dying.
Yes,
And we all need to eat too. So
That's true. We all
yeah.
do.
We are hungry. I am not entirely sober, and I can feel that.
I can survive off of booze. Fuck food.
So while Tobias works out how to navigate a sandwich in that manner, I suppose, we will potentially bid you guys adieu if Ryan would like to.
I want to make sure that everyone has people's social media so
Oh,
that they
yeah.
can contact and follow people. Tobias?
For sure. You can hit me up on facebook.com/SkyCaptainTobias. I also have a fancy dancy Patreon, and thank you to all of my rad Patreon listeners who I am going to hewer this show out to. Everyone's very happy about that. But yes, that is how you get a hold of me. If you would like to commission really cool props and stuff, I do that too.
I do.
Oh, we all do that.
Wait, no, I think Sin is saying that
I wanna
she
commission you.
wants
Oh,
one
you
of
want to
your
commission me?
weapons.
I mean, oh yes, I remember this conversation. Yes.
As
Throw
a
money at me. It's great.
I mean, just in general, things happen. However,
Things happen.
I will say that Tobias is one of the few presently custom LARP weapon builders that I'm aware of that actually goes so far as to involve laser cut details and decals into his work, and that means he customizes every single piece with very interesting art. So there's a lot of
so excited.
very, very interesting room for cool personalization, which is something that all of us kind of love because we love talking
Yeah,
about
it's very
characters.
important to me when building a product that an individual has their touch to it. Every character is unique. Why is their equipment not as well?
What's your social media?
My social media is Yokai Props, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm pretty sure my Facebook props page is that way too.
You can find him on my Instagram story. It's at
Yeah.
Tobias McCurry. I keep posting about him. He's embarrassed these days. It's bad.
Maybe not. But yes, those are ways of finding me and reaching me. Instagram especially, if you guys ever want to talk about nerdy things involving building and stuff like that, I'm always happy to share knowledge that I have, so long as I have the time to share it. I would be more than happy to answer questions if you have any particular thoughts and ideas. So feel free to toss me a private message on Instagram, Yokai Props, and hit me up if you so desire.
Right on. Well, if you want to see crazy dance videos, I've started getting back into my hip hop class. I'm so excited. Yes. Or any of my crazy cosplay, costumes, live stream, all that. Find me on Instagram, Cynthia__Marie. That is 2 underscores. Or you can find me on Twitter, which I'm really struggling with, but I'm trying to answer as much as possible and retweet all things. You can find me there at Cyndancer, CYNDANCER. I'm bored sometimes, so come and say hi.
Oh man, same though.
And you can find me, Ryan Omega, under Instagram, under Ryan Omega, or under Twitter, under Ryan OMGA. Aside from that, you could find me at Gen Con next week, and I have just been added to...
Just you?
Just me.
We're all gonna be at Gen Con.
Right.
Except for me.
But you should show up anyway.
I'm holding down the fort at Twin Mask.
That's fair.
But I have been just added to a couple of panels at Gen Con. Aside from being on the Theogony of Kairos live show, I've been added to a couple of game mastering for live stream panel. I have also been added to the game mastering how to deal with curveballs. And I know, like, Tobias is pointing at himself.
I'm a curveball.
But I'm honored that I'm being added to these panels because of my work on Arcana High.
Yes.
So, like, come and definitely say hi.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
Yay. And again, I wanted to thank all of our listeners, especially our Patreon people, including Twin Mask and Lost Colonies out in Virginia, and Geeky Teas. And again, thank you for tuning in with us today. Yeah, the alcohol is like slowing my
it's
speech
great.
a little bit.
It's great.
And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye forever.
Bye for never.
Fair. There are some really good bits in that.
There is.